I want to submit to you today to consider that there are two kinds of people in this world, only two kinds. Go with me on this. No matter the situation, no matter the circumstance, no matter the difficulty, no matter the challenge that is before you, no matter any life experience, there are only two kinds of people. And you put those two people in the same situation, they will react completely and totally different. And those two people are those that are hopeless and those that are hopeful. We, as a human race, as the human condition, we are at the crossroads. Go ahead and clap for that. Obviously, those are the hopeful people. All the hopeless people are going, oh my gosh, we're clapping and he hasn't even finished yet. Two kinds of people in the world, hopeless and hopeful. And we, in this time of year, in the season of Advent, are beginning an adventure at a crossroads to determine what kind of person we are going to be. As we look at the landscape of the situation, are you going to go left or are you going to go right? Hope is the most misunderstood divine idea at the Advent season. There are a lot of people that contextualize hope as mere wishing, like the children did. I wish that bear would get over here. And they're sitting on their doorstep, waiting for the Messiah to come, waiting for the light to come, waiting for the kindness to come. Why are people not being kind to me? And the reality is, those who are hopeful will go create the reality that they are seeking. You put those two groups in the same situation, it doesn't matter how dark or light that situation may be. They will have completely polar opposite experiences. You see, hope is not contingent upon situational reality. Hope never can be dependent upon what is going on out here, but is an indication of what is going on the inside. If we are going to give birth to the light that we are, if we are going to be able to see that light in everybody around us, the good, the bad, and the ugly, we have got to cultivate something within ourselves that says, I will be one of the hopeful people. Let me define my terms. With hopeful people, there will always be a feeling that what I am dreaming of, what I am envisioning, is absolutely possible. Hopeless people, there is no way that this could possibly come to be. The reality is, if you have a vision, a dream, an idea in your heart, it's not there by accident. It is a divine appointment. An angel has come to you that said, move. The angel came, told the shepherds they had to go from point A to point B to experience the light. An angel came to the wise queens and said, to get from point A to point B, you're going to have to take some action. You're going to have to move. And the angel told the very birthing, Mary, the very birther of this new reality, this new paradigm, that you're going to have to travel a very long distance. There are a lot of people on this planet that get that visitation from the angel and say, it's too much work. I don't want to do that. Somebody else bring me the light. Somebody else bring me the cupcake. Just don't throw it at me. Somebody else is responsible. And I'm saying the Advent season is a season of responsibility. To respond to the call of your heart, to respond to the message that has been placed. That's all angels are messages, divine intervention and messages that say there's more for you to experience. And I don't know what challenge you happen to be in right now, but there is a messenger speaking to you, and you're either listening with a hopeful consciousness, or you've quit listening with a hopeless consciousness. Hope is active. Hope is energetic. Hope is electrified. Hope is responsible. Hope is confident. It is never relenting, and it never surrenders. And yes, hope requires cultivation. If you want to repeat the same Christmas that you've had for the last 50 years, keep doing what you're doing. But if you want something mystical and magical and wonderful to be born in you, answer the call and take this active, energetic, electrified field and let it live in you, as you, around you, and through you. You know, hopelessness is basically inactive wishing. Inactive wishing. And what hopelessness is, and this is going to be a harsh reality, because hope cannot be separate from you. It came into the planet with you. It's what you are. But so many people have become a victim to the reality of the world that they live in. There are a lot of reasons to be down, to feel sad and depressed at this time of year. I'm saying count one It may be a list a mile long. Count the one thing that says, there's something good happening here, and I'm going to find it. Cultivate that little spark of light. Be active with it, responsible with it, and then go give it away. By giving that spark away, by giving that one little candle away, suddenly there's more light in the world, and by giving it away to you, it is amplified. Every Christmas Eve we do that. We pass the light to each other. And the light of the original candle is never diminished, but rather the light that is available to the world has greatly increased. It's a brighter world. I'm going to give you some steps, but as a context for those steps, I wasn't planning on sharing this, but first service just awakened it in me. I used to go 2 or 3 times a week to a rest home to play piano. And the place that was the most meaningful to me was the top floor, what many people affectionately or not so affectionately call God's waiting room. A lot of people who didn't know who they were. A lot of people who didn't know who I was. A lot of people who had forgotten. And at the Christmas time, it was a great metaphor for the great waking up that is being called from humanity. We have spiritual dementia. We have forgotten the magnificence of our soul. We have forgotten the light of our being. And so I'd walk into that room, and it did look like God's waiting room. People that were not there, slumped over in their chair. And you couldn't have a conversation with them. It was impossible to have a conversation with these people, so I just did what I was asked to do, and I sat down. God's waiting room had a spark of light. And posture went from here to here. With no words, with the simple act of a melody. And the room began to light up. No. Noel, born is the King. Voices came from the darkness. Life came from the lifeless. Hope came from the hopeless situation. And suddenly the Christ was born. The Buddha was born. The Tao was born. I don't care what you call it. It was something beautiful that was born in the moment because a melody had been recognized. A melody that transcends language. A melody that transcended everything. In fact, when I got into verse 4 and 5 of the first Noel and was totally screwing up the lyrics, those that were in God's waiting room corrected me. Oh no, honey, you sang that wrong. And dang it, they were right every single time. I'm saying that there is a melody at this time of year that we must remember. And it can be as simple as Noel. I don't even know what Noel means, but I know for today, Noel means a great awakening. And I'm asking you to take some steps today, to take some steps to wake up from your sleeplessness, your sleepiness, your dementia, and to just be committed to taking the steps necessary to cross from here to over there and to pick up that which you are seeking. I'm going to give you some steps. What problems are you facing right now? What are the difficult things that you are facing in your life right now? Bring them into the room. Bring them right here. Because right smack dab in the middle of that difficult, challenging situation is the opportunity to wake up. We're not going to push it away. We're not going to pretend it's not there. We're going to bring it into the room so that we collectively can stand up and receive the light and begin to sing Noel. Born. Born is something so magnificent that I had forgotten. Thank you for the melody, and let me give that melody voice. So the journey from hopelessness to hopefulness has some stepping stones. Here's the slide, please. I'm asking you to not make a jump. Some of you have had some really difficult times this year, really painful times that would cause you to want to land in hopelessness. And to jump from here to here would be an impossibility. You can't do it. I'm saying let's begin a journey with the many, many degrees of hope, the many variations and vibrations of hope, and let's start with anticipation. Anticipation is a kid on Christmas Eve. What's going to be under the tree? I don't know what it is. So it's very closely related to wishing and to wanting and to yearning, which is what hopelessness is. But there's an inner movement. You see, movement always starts within first before I might put one foot in front of the other and cross the room. There must be a willingness to know that there's a song. There's a song and it is playing. And just maybe, you can raise your head. The master teacher said, turn the other cheek. That's all I'm asking you to do. The first movement, to look at the one spark of light that's in the middle of the dark night of the soul. Turn and look a different way. Be willing to do that. Now, there's no shape or texture to it. You don't know what that's going to look like. I'm just anticipating that I'm not going to put up a tent in the life that I am living right here, right now. I refuse to put up a tent when I'm walking through hell. So the first movement is, let me just wake up from my spiritual dementia to be open to the possibility. Anticipation is about being open to a possibility, to turn my attention to Bethlehem. Bethlehem, metaphysically, basically means the place of bread, the house of bread, the place of substance. Could it be that the first step to getting kindness, to getting love, to getting a cupcake, to getting out of the hole that I have created for myself or that has been dropped into my lap, is to recognize that there is a place of Godness that has not been taken away from me, never been taken away from me. The internal movement says, God's here somewhere and I'm going to dig. I'm going to dig for that melody because the melody does not ever leave us. It cannot leave us. I used to go to that rest home during the year and I'd play 5'2", eyes of blue. The melody didn't leave them. Ain't she sweet? See her walking down the street. Noel. Noel. On December 1st, let Noel resound in your heart and your mind such that on the 25th of December, you are no longer the same person in the same hole with the same challenges because you have listened and you have listened deeply to Bethlehem and turned your attention to Bethlehem. You haven't started walking yet. You haven't even gotten the donkey to ride on. But something's calling you and you're listening to it. Now, anticipation simply regards the better life as a possibility. How many are willing to, right now, wherever you sit in your life, good, bad, or otherwise, are willing to anticipate that life can be even better? Good. That's a vibration of hope. Hopelessness is here. It's not vibrating at all. It's dead. It looks like God's waiting room. Anticipation says, let me just be in the room. I'm saying be in the room that is called hope. But then let's continue the journey. Let's get out of that hole and let's go to the next layer of hope, which is expectation. Here, the faculty of your imagination begins to come into play. And the only movement required is to stand up and to face the horizon. Face towards Bethlehem. Face toward Mecca. Face towards the light. To just simply stand up and go, there's a song happening in me. Many of those Alzheimer's patients did not sing for 20 minutes into the exercise, but they simply put their head up, stood erect, and said, something's happening here. That's movement. Oh, is that a baby step? Yes, it is. Take the baby step. The imagination begins to give texture and color and shape and form to that which is about to be born. You get specific, and here hope is beginning to dance with the energy of faith. There's an empowerment. The vibration has raised. And I'm facing in the direction of the horizon with an expectation that a certain good is going to come my way. Yes? This is where the confidence absolutely begins to emerge from us. The song no longer sounds like a single note. I'm going to stand up. The Lord is the King of Israel. A lot of people are stammering, but the note, the single melody, some harmonies add. And by simply standing, by being witness to the song within you, you are now attracting more people that will sing that song with you. Other hopeless people who needed you to simply be the reminder. I'm not defined by what's going on out here. I am defined by the melody within. And the world may call me sick and lost, God's waiting room. But I refuse to play that. Let the melody be so profound within me that I stand up and say, nope, something greater is happening here. God's happening here. A song, a symphony is happening at the point of me. But we're going to keep going. We're going to keep going further because that's a certain vibration. You know, we're making our way out of a well. A frog. So many people get about this far, and there's no action yet. No action's been taken other than I'm just standing up on the inside. But a frog is at a 20-foot well, at the bottom of a 20-foot well, and the light, I can see the light. I'm anticipating that that light might make its way down at the bottom of the well. I'm expecting it. I make a jump, 3 feet. And this is what happens. That's a slippery slope, a slippery wall, and I slide down 2 feet. I jump again, 3 feet to get to the light, and I'm reaching for that light, and I slide down 2 feet again. Too many people are defining themselves by the 2-foot backslide, if you will. Too many of us are defining ourselves by the failure and missing the great lesson that you've now gone a foot closer to the light. Count the right notes. You see, in the symphony, in the melody that's playing, I wish this piano had been a little closer. When you're in the Alzheimer's unit and you're playing a song, that would occasionally happen. Nobody in the Alzheimer's unit cared that I played the wrong notes. Nobody was judging me by the wrong notes. Everybody judged the experience and the 2-bit piano player by the energy that was brought into the room. And I'm saying, stop counting your wrong notes. Stop counting the things that aren't working. And be defined by the energy of hope that you are bringing into the room, which is the next layer, the next stepping stone. Beyond anticipation and expectation is the intention. We, by grace, yes, by grace, have been given the opportunity to choose our experience, to create our experience. All the power of the universe has been placed into your hand, and it is through your intention. Are you intending to put a tent up in hell, or are you intending to get out of the well? Are you intending to be the light, or are you intending to wait for somebody else to show up and make it happen? If you're waiting for December 25th for the light to happen, I hate to disappoint you. It's not going to happen because you'll be back here again next year. In fact, you'll probably be back here on New Year's Eve, feeling very hopeless and very alone. I'm reaching down the well, and there's 100 people in this room that are reaching down that well. Come on, one more jump. One more jump. Just grab my hand. And here's the reality. You grab my hand, I'm now at a higher place because there's somebody up here doing that to get out of that well. That's what hope creates. And it can feel like a little melody in the midst of the dark night of the soul, but it's there. Grab that hand. Be intentional. Use the power of grace. Now, in anticipation, there's a possibility of a greater life. When you go to the next level of expectation, the possibility becomes a probability. But when you use and implement the power of your intentional thinking nature, your thinking and your feeling nature. Joseph and Mary come together. They start to act and make their way to Bethlehem. It becomes not a probability, not a possibility. It is an inevitability. It is inevitable. Surround yourself with the people, the donkeys, if you will, that are going to walk with you to get to Bethlehem. That means taking a step. You've moved on the inside. You've stood up. Now just take one step. I'm not asking you to jump over 6 stones. I'm saying take the next one. I intend that the good that I am seeking is seeking me. The kindness that I am seeking is seeking me. The love that I am seeking is seeking me. The light that I am seeking is seeking me. Breathe that in for a second. Can you feel that? The universe is for you. And if God is for you, nothing and no one can be against you. No darkness. The light is for you. Sit down at the piano and hit all the wrong notes, but make your way to Bethlehem. Noel, Noel, born is something within me greater than this experience. And you know what has to happen to get to Bethlehem? Personal responsibility. I own my life. The right notes and the wrong notes. I own them all. They are mine. And I will not play small by intending that which God has destined me to be. Oh, we're not done yet. Don't worry. So from the intention, the use of grace itself, the faculty of my ability to create and to manifest the life that I desire, to manifest the end of the well, I get to the final step, which is going to get me to hopefulness. At this point, hope is no longer dancing with faith. Hope has become faith. And guess what? Nothing's changed, except I'm moving in the direction of the good, inwardly and outwardly. And that which I have sought, I've already become. The hardest thing with faith and hope is to know that in the mind of God it is complete. I want you to hear that. In the mind of the infinite, it says in Scripture, it's the Father's good pleasure to give you the kingdom. It's been given to you. Kindness is already in your hands. Kindness is already in your heart. There's a cupcake in every pocket. Did you do that? In the mind of God, I'm living and breathing and having my being in the understanding that as an offspring of God, as a child of God, the light that I seek is already here. Because I'm defined myself by the internal reality and not the external longing and yearning and wishing and begging and pleading. I'm defined by being the light of the world and quit giving that responsibility to Jesus or to Buddha or to my mother or my child. I take full and complete responsibility for singing Noel wherever I am, no matter how dark, no matter how light, to defining myself by the 3-foot jump and go, I'm getting there. I'm there within. So the final step is realization. And it is important that on this journey to the birthing of the Christ that we are celebrating this whole month and the whole next year in front of us, the realization must live in us that it's no longer a possibility, it's no longer a probability, it's no longer an inevitability, it's a done deal. I want you to live the month of December as if it was a done deal. And if you've put up a tent, guess what? By grace, you can take the tent down. Take the tent down, put it in your backpack, and then take one more step. And look out, because together we're going to create something so magnificent for each other, with each other, and for ourselves, that Christmas will be more profoundly born within your heart this year than ever before. And I'm saying the time has come to visit the waiting room. To visit the waiting room. Stop waiting. Start listening to the melody that you have forgotten. Noel, 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 Noel. I'm waiting. Born is the King of Israel. Let's sing it. Noel, Let's take this idea into meditation. Let's listen to the melody in the quiet stillness of our soul. And let that which may have been forgotten come back to your awareness. Let that which may be sitting under a Christmas tree somewhere that's calling you awaken within you something that will no longer be covered up. You are the song of God. You are the song of Christmas. You are the song of Buddha, the song of Christ, the song of the light. You are Bethlehem.